Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about some of the surprises and consequences of gender race quotas in hiring in the private sector in business, and just go through some examples of it and just try and get some idea, how long can this be tolerated or put up with or sustained, hiring the least qualified people or from among the least qualified people. It seems, it's counterintuitive. Obviously, you try and hire, if not the best person, that certainly, people in the top percentile of applicants for any job. But when you willfully and knowingly and purposefully hire the least or among the least qualified, how long can that be sustained? How long can it be sort of baked into any business model, any way of doing business? It's obviously destructive. So it's almost a case of how long before the whole thing comes crashing down. Now, CEOs and those guys have immunized themselves from it. Their salaries have gone through the roof. So it's pain that others will suffer. But why would any CEO knowingly condone the hiring of the least qualified people, unless they were somehow completely protected from the consequences of it? So let's just have a little look at that. I've mentioned this before in some other videos, but there's another sort of recent one. A company we're doing business with, we were working on something, and they said, "Well, hold on a minute, we're hiring, a new sort of vice president type, or maybe divisional general manager is probably a better term. So we don't want to make a final decision on this until this new person comes in, and so they're involved in the decision." So I didn't think that was worthwhile, because they were quite prepared to make other decisions that affected this new person coming in. But this particular one, they wanted to make sure it was all, there was just total consensus all the way around. So fine, if that's what they want. Now, I took an interest in it because we were waiting for the outcome. But the advert appeared on one of the leading job boards for the role, and it was pretty exacting, and this is often the case, by the way. The advert's exacting, and then the person they hire doesn't meet any of the criteria listed in the advert, and this was one of those. So the advert was a degree plus a master's was the basic or the minimum. A PhD would have been well regarded and preferable. We believe the successful applicant will have a PhD, and they wanted a minimum 10 years experience in this particular field. So really the youngest somebody's going to be for the youngest an applicant could be, successful applicant could be 35 years old, if they met, assuming they met all that, the PhD included, if they met all that criteria. So anyway, that was the advert, and so a person got hired, and in we went to meet them, and it was a female from a third world country with modest command of English, and who met none of the fucking criteria that was in the advert. And this was listed as mandatory criteria, not optional. It'd be nice if you can speak English. No, the mandatory criteria of the education, the experience, and the experience gained in a first world country, not someone dirt poor third world shithole. But so this person met none of the criteria, and yet there they were, and I was quite stunned by this. That because if you look at the advert, well, no, I wasn't. I shouldn't say that. It was yet another example. I was disappointed, I think would be a better way of saying it, by that, because this seems to be time and time again, you're seeing the same thing. The advert's drawn up and put on the job board to hire somebody, and the person they hire meets none of the criteria. So, well, why did you advertise But why not just put an advert out saying, we want someone who's fucking useless, can't speak English, and won't do a jot of work, and you're just there as a gender racial quota hire. So just sit in the office, look pretty, and shut the fuck up. But why don't they just sort of be honest about it? But this pretense that they're hiring or setting out at least to hire the very best, the most credentialed and experienced applicants, and they end up hiring someone who meets none of it. Now, they go through the charade of interviewing suitably qualified applicants, so wasting people's time with and really they're only going through the exercise for the sole purpose of eliminating them, not being interested in hiring any of them. So anyway, they hire this. So we had to try and work around this totally unqualified, very inexperienced, very insecure person. So it's hard to talk to someone who's that unqualified and that insecure about it. So you've got to tread on eggshells and treat them with kid gloves and so on. But I'm seeing this just pretty much everywhere now. But the question is, and I look forward to seeing your comments below, is exactly how long can this go for? Because you're looking at entire structures of middle and upper middle management now that all of them are unqualified. All of them are race and gender quota hires, and no business can sustain that. Even a business that's got monopoly and oligopoly and cartel pricing power, cozy government contracts, even they will struggle under the weight of so many unqualified people, many of whom, by the way, don't give a shit either and think they're entitled to it. So I look forward to seeing your comments below. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.